So I've run myself out of time. I need to build this box for my weekly video. It's Saturday, so I have to build this thing, put it together, paint it, and edit the video in a day and a half because I'm busy tomorrow. It's been a long week at work. Yes, I'm cold. I was going to throw all of the speakers away, but I found 2 more subwoofers. I might put them to the side and keep a hold of them. If I get another power supply, maybe I'll rig them up. I think the first serious step is going to be to remove these speakers from the boxes that they are currently in, and then I can start to think about the layout. I have a whole heap of wood over here. None of that is actual wood, it's all MDF and particle board, so it's all garbage, but for this project it'll do. So I think that that's where I'll just get started. Aha, what I should have done. Okay, well that's ruined. But hey, you learn something stupid every day. That's one removed. Oh no, that's bad news bears. I don't know how I want the layout of this to be. Oh wait, I've just realised that I haven't dismantled these yet. I can't see anything, any screws holding this together. The question is if I want all of the speakers facing forwards, whether I want some off to the sides of the box as well. For the sake of making it easier on myself, I think all in one direction is good. I also think that I'm going to put these 2 speakers in as well that I found later on. I think that there's a reason that all the speakers are inside boxes to do with like keeping the back pressure behind the diaphragm of the speaker. So I think for the subwoofers at least, I'm going to have to make a box inside the box for them. And then maybe I'll make a few compartments inside for the speakers as well. I'm really not very good at woodwork, so this is going to be very trying for me. I think this might be the layout I go with. I could save a lot of space if I put speakers on top facing up or something, because this is going to be far larger than I thought. I was hoping for a somewhat compact little package. So I'm going to go these 2 rows facing forwards, then these 4 speakers, and then my 2 4-inches can go on top facing up, and that will surround the head unit and the amplifier that will also be there. And then I just have to figure out where to put the power supply. But now I have to mark out the positions of these 6, and I don't have any stencils or anything like this, anything like that even, which is going to make this a very interesting endeavour. It'd be nice if I had my jigsaw still, and it would be nice if I had my handheld circular saw still. But me being me, I've broken both those things. So basically the only tools that I do have is this and this, which could pose a problem. I'll mark out this area first, cut it, and then play the next one by ear. A problem I'm going to have to face from this outline here, which I've just traced onto here, I actually need to cut a hole that runs this line, not the outside, because I need somewhere to put bolts through. I wish I had some sort of stencil, but I don't, so this is going to be a pain in the butt. I've also realised that this curved edge is going to be a problem. I need everything to be nice and flush when I join the box together, which means I actually need to cut out this section here in order to have a square edge, which has brought me too close to my markings, I think. Why can't I think things through? So I need to take off 50 mils from this end, right the way across. Now this circle is too close to the base. Ah, I went a little off course here. I'm not going to worry too much because I'll use some gap filler or something to fix any of those issues. It would indeed appear that I just discovered the problem with sawing particle board unsupported. Luckily, I have another full board and I'm not too concerned. I'm going to just cut another piece, which will allow me to make sure that I've got better spacing. I might even start with the square edge as the base. Alright, so I've got this new piece cut out and I have my markings made, but I'm really struggling to figure out how to size the hole that goes in it whilst leaving the right amount of lip for the screws to hold the speakers in around the edges. Measured the hole that originally went around the Sony sub. It's 27 point something, and I have this paint thinners can which is 27 point something. So I think as long as I get my spacing even around the edges, this should be fine. So I've got that hole marked. Now I have to figure out how I'm going to cut the hole. How do I go from this to that? Look what I found. Alright, I figured a solution. I've put this straight cut edge on the router and it cuts through it like butter. Well, a clean job that was not. Very rough. At times the thing had a mind of its own, that's for sure. But the moment of truth. There we go. So it fits. That's perfect. Now I need to do the 3 center ones. I'm doing those first because I think round is easier than figuring out whatever this is. I'm going to try using that as an outline for the next 3, so I'll come back once I've done all of that. Very nice. Now I have to figure out how to mark the inside of the 6x9s. I need this shape, not this shape. Another dilemma. I may have figured out a solution by using some of this tape. I'm wondering if I can make some sort of a stencil. The theory is that I'll be able to peel this off, hopefully in one piece, and hopefully use it more than once so I don't have to redo it. I gave it a second pass. I did 2 layers in the hopes that it gives it just a bit more rigidity when I try and peel it off. It doesn't just fall apart. Moment of truth. No, it wants to come apart. Please don't. I would much prefer if you hold together. Thank you. Well, I'm not 100% convinced. My lines don't line up, but that could be more on account of movement in the pen when I marked. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Fingers crossed that I can peel this off again and just reuse it on the next one. Cool. And the thought is already in my head that with all of the free play and movement and whatnot that I have had, spaghettios, using it for a second time may not be a good idea. Yeah, this one's significantly wider. So what I'll do, I'm gonna cut this one out. I'll put a piece of paper under it, trace the line, then cut that paper out, put it in this position. Oh, goodness. This may be incredibly stupid. Well, it's not often that happens. That seemed to go fairly flawlessly. No, I feel like that shouldn't have worked. Like, all I did was punch this cut out. That shouldn't have been accurate enough. But hey, I'm not complaining. So what's the next step? Do I go ahead and screw the speakers in and then the front plate is done? That might be what I do. Smoothed off that screw, it can stay there. I really do frustrate myself sometimes. This is the only screw I can find, because why would I put them aside to be used later? What have I done with them? Well, I found some of them. Hopefully, as I progress, I pick up a few more along the way. That'll do. So I'm missing 1, 2, 3 screws. Hopefully I'll find them along the way. There we have it. All self-supporting. I'm now onto the top section of the speakers of the box. I wanted to originally have the head unit under these speakers, but the problem is, due to how deep the head unit is, and it's deeper than this, being sunk into the box would mean that it was hitting the top of that speaker. So I've had to switch it out so that this is further back in the box. The 2 speakers should clear just fine. To mark out the speakers, I happened to find these rings that fit perfectly, so I can easily just put that down, use that to mark my circle. CD is almost the correct size for that one. Finding a circle that just happens to fit that is proving to be a little more difficult. There it is. That's my something. Time to whip out the jigsaw. And when I say jigsaw, I mean router. Mistakes were made. Using the paint can to outline these holes was a mistake. You can see that there is nothing behind these holes to screw to. What I think I'm going to have to do is just flip it around, start again, use the same layout but do it on that side, and then we can come along and cut that end off and no one will be any the wiser except for us. Just realised I can't do that either because of this corner. I can't have that because that will be abundantly apparent. If I cut this off, I'm probably not going to have enough room. So it looks like I'm going to be cutting a brand new piece, which is annoying because hand sawing all this has not been fun. I've cut a new board. I've drawn out some new lines. I found this cardboard stencil, which is not a nice round thing at all, but it's pretty close to what I need it to be, and it shouldn't matter. So now it's time to whip out the router again and have a go at all of this. So there we have all the holes done. Golly, that was a painful task. The first bit snapped. Second bit I think is blunt because it just burned up like crazy. It was just causing smoke throughout the whole garage. Third bit, which was the largest bit, worked pretty well. Plenty of sawdust to go around. So now is the moment of truth. So that's what it looks like. These 2 holes will be for the tweets to be mounted underneath, not on top. The wiring that's connecting the 2 speakers together makes that difficult. Now I just have to figure out placement of the head unit. Cut a hole out for that. The sleeve that holds the head unit fits in nicely. I'll probably use some bracketry or something to bolt it in. I don't 100% know how yet. So this is all good to go. Oh, what's the time? It's 20 to 4. So I am very rapidly running out of time. I don't think I'm going to get this done. I know I'm not getting this done, but I'm making progress. So I'm going to keep going. The next step will be to cut that along there to the size that I want. I need 22 screws. was a disaster. I was literally just thinking whether I needed to put pilot holes in or not. When it slipped, I just tore a hole. Crisis averted. I have some spare 4-inch from the other set. Bit annoying because these are Clarions. They're a better quality speaker, but I broke one. I'm having a little bit of a crisis as to whether I would prefer 2 working lower quality ones or 2 better quality ones, but one's broken. Or do I go one and then a Clarion over there? But I think aesthetically I need 2 of the same. I don't want to use a broken one, so I'm going to go and salvage some speakers out of the other set. It's not the end of the world. Alrighty, these are all wired and ready to go. Got my sleeve in here. I don't know how you're meant to mount it correctly, so I'm going to turn to my trusty old friend, 5-minute epoxy. Trying to follow the edge, the lip, where I think it sits. Fingers crossed, I didn't just ruin it. So while that's setting up, I have to figure out what's next. This is a much bigger process than I thought it was going to be. It's now 4:20. I still got a lot to do. I don't think I'm getting this done in time for tomorrow. Is it time to try to build a box around the subwoofers? Maybe. So it's 4:50 now. I've been umming and ahhing about what to do next, and I don't know what the correct plan of attack is, but I'm going to use these brackets, and I'm going to, I think, attach the top that has the head unit and all the speakers and all that to start assembling the box. So I'll do the top and maybe one side, and then that will make it stable. It'll hold itself, and then I can start thinking about all the wiring and whatnot. I guess that's as good a place to start as any. So these are really just here as location and somewhat support, stop it moving, because this will bear the brunt of the weight. Yep, that works. Oh no. Well, that puts a spanner in the works. So, I'll have to move that bracket now. Okay, this time we are clear. So, the gap that's under here is a problem because it means this isn't lining up. It's all this steel thing's fault. Once I figured that out, I'm going to screw this in and I'll attach one side panel and then we'll come back. My battery's about to die. I got a little bit carried away. While the phone was charging, I put on the front, put on the top, and I put on a side. So there's the top, here's a side. That's what I'll have to deal with later. There's the other side. So as it sits now, that's roughly how it's going to look. What it needs now is a base and some wheels. It's now 5:50, and I really should be packing it in now. I told the wife that I'll pack it up now. But I really want to put the base with the wheels on it. It's that never-ending question though. Risk versus reward. I think I'm going to put the wheels on. This box looks and moves the way that I intend it to once it's complete. Now, it's 6:10 and I really got to eat. There's no way that I'm going to get it finished today. there's just no way I have time. So today I have to call it quits. I'm going to get up bright and early because all that's left is to maybe put a couple of dividers in there so that the speakers are separated from each other, so that the I think it's like the reverb or whatever, the concussion or whatever you want to call it, the back pressure caused by the speakers doesn't interfere with the other speakers in the box. So I'll probably put some partitions in there. Then I have to wire it up. I wanted to get it painted and whatnot, but I haven't edited any of the footage yet. Tomorrow we're going out for lunch. I don't think that I'm getting this done in time to upload on Sunday, the 31st of March. But I'm going to try. Alright, so it's the next morning. It's time now to try to wire it all up. They're the last two things that need to happen. I don't really know how to go about it. So what I've done with 2 nails is I've put this divider in here. I really don't know how sturdy that's going to be or how effective it's going to be. What I might do that'll do. I still don't know what to do. I don't think that's gonna help entirely. I may need to put a back on it as well. Alright, change of plan. I'm going to forego building internal boxes and see how it goes if I just leave it all like the way it is. So I'm gonna just jump straight into wiring it up now. If I find that it doesn't work or doesn't sound any good without it being all compartmentalized, I'll come back and fix it up later. But for now, I want to focus on just getting it done. I'm not sure if keeping the amp in the compartment with this is going to destroy the amp through vibration and whatnot, but I guess that's something we'll find out. Slight dilemma. As I was stripping these wires, I've pulled it off the speaker here, which is less than ideal, but the way I was going to jerry rig it up was attached to the subwoofer down below, which meant that the cables were quite stretched. So having that happen may be a blessing in disguise, in that I'll do that and attach longer cables to it now. So the plan is to attach either the 2 subwoofers together or one of these subs with the bigger sub and these 2 together or something, to wire into the 2 outputs of the amplifier. I don't actually know how to solder correctly. I sort of just heat stuff up until it does vaguely what I want it to do. So my original plan was to crimp it, but now I'm not going to bother. The main subwoofer is now wired up to the amp, and I think I'll connect that to this speaker over here. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to do that pretty much to the whole lot. I've got all of these 4 speakers rigged up, the subwoofers. This cord's maybe a bit too long. I could have made that shorter, but I don't care. I think now it might be time to drop the head unit in. Moment of truth. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright, I think that's where it belongs. Alrighty, that's where she lives. I think that's right. I need to figure out the wiring for the rest of these speakers. You've already seen what I'm going to do, so I'll come back once it's all done. So I've got it all wired up now. I have not yet tested it to see if this actually works, but all my speakers are done. I had to do some soldering. I had to come up with some creative blocks, do a little bit of solder and heat shrink. So now the last thing I need to do is attach the antenna. So I need to put a couple of holes through the side. Okay, there we go. it's an M5. I have M4 and M6. But for now, let's just call that done. Why? Alright, I'm out of time. I need to be leaving to go to lunch half an hour ago. On the radio, it works. Auxiliary, I think my cable's shot, but I think I need the back plate on there for it to work because the bass just isn't coming through. So that's it for now. I'll finish this up and maybe attached to another video, I'll quickly show the end result. What a process, trying to get it done in 2 days. Thanks again for joining. Catch you next time. Lightning round. 1 partition. 2 partition. Secure the power cord so it can't get yanked out. Then that. Now that. It's finished.